What is going on, YouTube? We are back for another video. Today we are looking to improve. I've been grinding Valorant since the moment this game came out, essentially. I've been trying to improve. It's my second tactical shooter. I used to play a lot of Rainbow Six Siege, but it's my first tactical shooter on PC. And so because of that, I've been trying my best to improve, and I'm always looking at new tips to basically improve. I follow a lot of pros. I like the competitive scene of Valorant, and I've just been looking at different ways to improve, right? Today we're looking at probably the tip that gets recommended the most, but one that I don't think a lot of people actually take into account. Watching back your gameplay is probably the #1 tip that I see be given out by pros and people in higher elo. The reason for that is because when you're in the match itself, you oftentimes don't realize of certain things that are going on. By watching these videos back, or by watching your own gameplay back, you kind of get an idea of how you play, some bad tendencies you might make. For example, right here, I know the Raze is there, but I let her escape. I do avoid the ult, but the Raze is now... Look at that. I had to challenge the Raze. I got traded out when all I needed to do was hold her down in that corner. Yes, the shock darts were effective in getting her out of that corner at the time, but what could have happened was I just aimed down the sides or held that angle on her, and the moment she peeked out, I go for the headshot. So anyways, we're gonna look at this video right here. Is from 2 months ago, I want to say. So in the 2 months since then, I have somewhat improved, but I would say relatively had not enough improvement for me to say that this isn't how I play all the time anymore. So I think it'll be a good basis for me to look at and kind of study and analyze. So basically for this video, we're just gonna sit down and watch one of my old gameplays. I don't really watch my own videos back that often, so this should be an interesting time. I'm hoping to learn a couple of things from this, and I'm hoping that maybe you guys will as well by studying this with me. So yeah, let me know if you guys want to see this again, and let's get into it. All right, so it looks like right here we're pushing on an A. Raze is already in front of me. I probably could have Aljo'd faster to try and clear sight. At this point, we know sight's clear. Sage is in the door. Our Sage walls off our back. Not a bad play in case we could watch our flank. Me and Omen decide to hold hell, it looks like.
Oh my god, 133 on her. One go.
Dropped right.
She dropped. Oh fuck, thank you.
We get the trade.
One's holding main. One was... Just stay there, Kelly, just stay there. Hold that corner.
Okay, I'm dodging and weaving through these smokes.
There we go.
Let's go. And somehow I stayed alive. I think I moved around a lot more than I probably should have. In the end, the play works out, so this probably wouldn't be something that I actually look back at. Dumb swing, but it worked out. But looking at it now, I think based on what we had full sight control. If anything, as Sova, lineups are pretty important. I did have both of my shock darts, I believe. So maybe pushing out into tree, or pushing up to heaven and holding that and just playing for lineups could have been the better play to make. Right here, I didn't line up. I did get the headshot, but I didn't go for the kill. That's one of the things that I do see a lot with people, and I know I do it a good amount. I have the time there because Jet hasn't seen me. What should happen is my crosshair needs to go on her head so that I get that initial headshot, the second headshot, get the kill. Especially when they have guns. That's what you have to play for. You have to play for your crosshair placement being over their head and not panicking and throwing off the first shot, especially if they don't see you. That just alerts them to where you're at. Doesn't help you out in the long run. I think, yeah, boathouse is also clear. Alright, so I've cleared out B main, I've cleared out boathouse. Omen is teleporting, so the possibility of him being on the flank is definitely there. Sure enough, he is. They know the Omen is B main. Raze is market still with the knob. Forced angles. Yeah. She's gonna good stuff. She's gonna go market. She's gonna save it again.
She might not save it.
Good stuff. Right there, the Raze got her ult, so she decided to push out with the ult. She shot Boathouse, which was where he was at last, so you can tell the team is communicating right there. That's how it should work. Overall, personally, I don't really see much else on my end. I did turn around to see the Omen. Probably could have held the angle better to get the Omen, knowing that the possibility of him being on the flank was possible. But besides that, I think overall I played to the best of my ability. Alright, so here I am pushing up mid. Actually not a good push after the spike. Sova's on his drone, so I push up, get the kill. Perfect. Jet, Raze is on the stairs. Right here, I should have gotten that.
Got her.
Good stuff. That satchel saved me again, bro, yo. That satchel saved me again. We both missed our shots. If you look down on the bottom of my screen, I actually didn't take a single damage there.
She dashed on me, she dashed on me. Fuck, she might pick up the upper run. She might pick up the other run. Good shit, nice.
But some shaky shots, but we get the kill.
As soon as that was up, oh, I got her.
Alright, so here I'm on B, I'm lurking by myself. Sage is going down mid. I saw Sage. My crosshair should be a little higher.
Oh, I'm so stupid.
Yep, that was not the good play. They got to trade though, at least, but I didn't have to get traded there. I should have been able to get that kill had my crosshair been right. Alright, so I use this arrow pretty often. I messed it up here. It says it's a pistol round though. The jet dashes through, instantly get out of your L drone. She has a shorty. I get that kill.
Oh, she's on top of the wall. Fuck, I didn't hear her go up.
Ooh, dropped on the Omen. Okay, Raze is mid. Omen is market. So we'll push our Omen. Omen got the trade. One's market, one's B main. They think he's still on that side. Oh, backstep into him. The Omen right there should. There's no reason to back up right there, especially down into that corner. So that was a bad play on the other Omen's side, but Alejandro also did clutch up right there. So that was a solid play by Alejandro to play around the smoke. If anything, I actually probably would have think that in that situation, you probably don't want to throw out your smoke, especially being that close. And considering it's a 1v1, in the case that the Omen just decided to randomly push him right there, he would have been screwed because he had the smoke out. Alright, so we see Raze over at A. That triggers the rotation from me and my Raze. Sova's pushing out with his drone. We briefly see Omen. Everybody goes down almost instantly.
What the fuck?
The jet completely outplays me. That was a huge outplay by the jet. Okay, so right here we see Sova up in mid. I, for whatever reason, throw out my my dart.
Oh my god, 148.
I know Omen and Sova are playing mid, but the Raze gets 2 kills over on A.
She has an up. No chance she doesn't.
The Omen decides to teleport. That could be an indicator that they decide to go B instead.
Yeah, no fucking way, bro.
I haven't committed to anything here. And the Omen has already pushed up into heaven. Is there much of a chance for us to win that round? Probably not. But can I get the pick on at least 1 or 2 people? Yes, had I just committed to A at that point. I know Raze is guaranteed to be A side because that's where she killed our Omen. Should have just stayed there, played for the pick, and then had they planted B, I can try to rotate over. Probably can't force a 1v4, but I can pick some people off as they leave side. Okay, so I get my recon dart as I typically do, not expecting anybody, but it turns out I get 3, so instead of pushing my Aldrone mid, I decide to Aldrone through here and get at least 1 tag. I don't get a tag, so instead I decide to ult. I get the Sova. I push myself back into the smoke. Okay, very interesting play. Still somehow I'm alive.
How am I still alive?
I've cooked that shit for you, bro. Omen push up, Omen push up.
I mean,
She healed on, she healed on, she healed on.
rise. That's not me.
Spike down,
That's not
spike down, spike down.
behind you, Kelly.
And I get the trade. Okay. I don't know how I stayed alive in that situation. I think the fact that I pushed myself back into the smoke made it hard for Jet to get me. But at that point, I literally just went back, basically vertically. So she should have just been aiming at the same spot. She probably could have gotten that kill. All right, so here I get the recon dart mid from the other Sova. I decide to use my Aljo to push up mid. I don't see anybody initially, but we've already gotten people through cat, so that triggers a rotation from us. We do leave mid open here. Oh, but the Jet already pushed up. Wow. Yeah, I mean, at that point, I think the Jet played her role perfectly. They got through tree. They got through cat. They got into tree. At that point, the Jet decides to push up with their knives. I don't even think I heard the knives go off. Solid play by the Jet, really pushing forward to get as much space as possible for her team. It was a slower rotation from both of us, but I think at that point we also should have kind of thought, if they already killed somebody in a tree, they're more than likely up in heaven. If they're up in heaven, somebody's bound to push us out. Alright, so I'm pushing out with my Aljo mid. There's actually a way to get over the fence, which is a lot faster, but I didn't know that at the time. Sage is chilling outside a catwalk. If anything, she's just watching mid and across. My team has gotten into B. I think they're about to check boathouse. Nobody's back there. My recon dart goes to B main to make sure nobody's pushing up. Raise is. I see somebody briefly in market, so I push back to my side. There's still the possibility that Sage or Omen, who are the two I haven't seen, decide to push through our spawn. Through our side, I mean. But at this point, holding from this covers, yep, this angle behind them. Race pushes me, I get the kill. Sage is pushing in, I call it out, they get the trade. I heard somebody flanking, so that's probably the Omen. Sova is still, yep. Solid. Yeah, very good right there. I don't think but the problem there is I didn't verbalize any of that. Only the Sage. I didn't say that the Omen was on our side, even though I knew it was him because Sova was on the other side of B.
She pushes mid, so we just gotta play. Good.
All right, and here it's looking at the tendencies that we've already seen from them, right? And that's really what it comes down to in this game. You have to look at what your opponent's been doing often, and that's where you work off of. All right, we go for the recon dart again. This recon dart is super useful to make sure that there's no presence at B early on. It also delays them pretty quickly. Our Sage calls out A. I think it's a little bit of a premature push because Cypher and Sage are here. But again, the Jet's making moves. She very quickly dashes onto site. I'm trying to shock dart this corner to make sure nobody's there. I still have the owl drone, but I wait for the first pick to go off.
I hit Sova and Jet.
Okay. I should have, right there, they weren't looking at me. I probably could have lined up at least one of them. I call out the Jets in hell.
Oh, I fucking couldn't peek out in time.
Watch you guys back.
Might go heaven, yeah, watch out.
Here, I'm reloading on site. On site still?
Oh, she's right there.
She is weak.
My dash.
Good stuff.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Let's go.
GG. Let's
That was a good game.
go.
Okay. Yeah, so overall we won this game. I honestly didn't even know if we won this game. I just kind of like,
mad about their
I saw how long the game was and I figured I could probably make a video.
mad.
All right, closing remarks time. I think, yes, this has kind of helped me see some of my bad tendencies, and I will go ahead and share those with you all now. First of all, I think oftentimes a lot of us, especially lower eloads, it's a bad habit that people get into. I know because I've had it. Having abilities out or util out in situations where you probably don't need them, but we've kind of grown reliant to them, and so we feel like we need to use them in those moments, when in reality all we really need to do is hold the angle, shoot the person that walks by, right? So you saw with the shock dart briefly, there was a moment where I decided to use the shock dart in a 2v1 situation. At that point, there's a very specific moment where I should probably use it, but besides that, it's better to hold the angle with the gun. Just make sure that you get that pick or the trade. Bait for your other teammate, especially if you're low on health. But don't force the engagement, especially when you're defending, or whether that's site or the plant. I definitely need to communicate more. I think this is, by the way, this was me and a group of friends, right? So this is not me solo queuing, but typically I will solo queue. And if there's one thing that happens in solo queue is that a lot of people oftentimes don't communicate. I don't blame people though. A lot of times in solo queue, people get very toxic. I've been in the receiving end of toxicity. It sucks. It kills your mood. You don't want to play. But personally, I think that communicating with a team always goes a long way. Maybe it's just one person that you communicate with because everybody else decides to be toxic. But I think it's just a good habit to get into. It really helps you improve on the game. So if you enjoyed this, go ahead and drop a like. Comment down below ways that you think I can improve or other tips that you may have. Again, this is just the tip that I hear the most from people, and I definitely do recommend it. I think looking back at how you play, whether that's just recording your game, go back, look at it like 2-3 weeks later, see if what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, and learn from that. That's ultimately the goal of the game, right? So thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, drop a like, comment down below what you want to see from me, and with that said, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to see you all for the next video. Peace out.